Hey everybody, RPG Guy here at Jack Tart Studios. And, if Final Conflict's level 40 promoted study isn't out yet, it will be soon. But now we need to talk about Shining Force 2. Of every game that is in the primary Shining Force series all the way up to Shining Force 2, there's usually a finite leveling system, to some degree. I mean, you can go over those limits, but to some degree there is a set of very focused ways that you can kind of get a good average of levels between all characters. However, in Shining Force 2, there's always been mass debate on how to handle what I call a Shining Force level study. Unlike my other studies, this one I need to talk about the parameters of this study and some issues that I think might come up for some people, and then some other issues that are going to come later, and things that I might need to address on the fly, and all these other things. Because when doing Shining Force 2, you don't just have one of the largest cast of characters in the franchise history, but you also have a lot of issues that it's hard to account for. And you have an unbalancing problem. So that's the other big thing, is a lot of people say, well, what's the point of checking promoted characters? Well, they don't get a fair shake when you really break down their structure and how they're designed. So this study isn't about who's the best character for the party. That might be a discussion I do after this study, after the first, attempt at this study accurately. Maybe then I'll figure out who the best characters are based on how early you get them and everything else going on. But this is just for numbers. This study is literally just for the numbers. And it's going to be based on a simple concept. And that concept is that promotions and characters are kind of in a setup to see who's really got the best stats based on getting the same amount of levels across the board. So what does this mean? That's why I'm doing just a video, and I call this the vanilla study parameters. So this is the vanilla study, so no special promotion items, there's no added items, there's no added bonuses, there's nothing added. It's just straight XP and leveling. There's no stat bonuses, no stat bonus items, no silver tanks, no warriors prides, no secret books, and we're not turning anybody into anything different, like the specialty stuff. I'm going to save that for later, and we'll take a look at that as we go. The vanilla study is literally just every character at whatever level they would naturally promote to. We're also going to take an analysis of their stats and directly compare them to each other. The way that this seems to work, and the only way that I can break down how this is going to work efficiently and effectively, is to describe it as such. Promotion is allowed at level 20. Even promoted characters show statistical identifiers that they were promoted at level 20. You could probably take your regular party, promote them at level 20, and then their stats might be similar to the already pre-promoted characters you get later. The problem is that you still end up getting 4 to 5 characters that don't line up right. And these are the Creed characters, Elric and Janet. And the reason they don't line up correctly is because they actually start 1 to 4 levels higher than level 20 when you get them. So it is implied that they have 4 to 5 levels of extra leveling, 4 levels or less, rather, leveling that your pre-promoted characters did not get. So I had to really think about what's the best way to kind of account for this. And I said, well, why don't we just get all of our unpromoted characters to 24 or 25? And I picked 25 as it's a round number. And I said, okay, so if every character gets 5 extra levels before promotion, what does that mean with the post-promoted characters? Well, simple. The characters that join the party already promoted are going to get 5 extra levels. And then once they're promoted, I'm going to get them to a certain set of leveling to see how it looks. A lot of suggestions, and I did use Shining Force Central as a really good resource because the wonderful people over there have put in a lot of time and effort So check out their website for sure. But they've put in a lot of data and a lot of effort and a lot of other things, and I considered a lot of what they said about something like this, and I also considered some of the data that they found. Characters learn spells at 60 levels of let's say 60 levels of leveling, which I actually found some errors in, because some other people have contradicted some of that argument. But again, this study will be able to tell us whether or not that's true. But more importantly, with studies like this, the only way to say how this study's working is that every character is getting the same amount of level ups. It's as simple as that. Well, some of you at home might say, well, why not just do a max level study and get them all the way to 99? Number one, that's batshit insane in this game, is there's only a handful of characters that can naturally get there on their own. Number two, which are usually casters of the healing variety. Number two, the amount of time it would take to do that. And number three, maybe I will do a 99 study, but I'm obviously going to do some kind of, like, Game Genie code to get there. Like, all the brave apples I can choke down or something. If I can do any of those things, then yeah, maybe I'll do a 99 comparison. But a 99 comparison is going to mean I'm going to have to write down stats manually, which comes to my second problem. As characters level higher and higher, their stats will go above 99. When any stat, HP, MP, attack, defense, agility, and so on, goes above 99, it just puts two question marks there. So what does that mean? It means I literally have to keep track of their stat bonuses myself. Manually, painfully, and enragingly, annoyingly. With that said, it's not something I don't mind doing. I want to prepare for a study like that if I ever do one. However, again, with that said, the unpromoted characters will still get as much as 39 levels, 40 levels, whatever you want to call it, more than the people that are already promoted. So again, if I was going to do a study like that, I would promote every character at 20, and the few characters that get the extra levels just get the extra levels. Nothing I can do about that. Or you promote them I promote every character at level 24, which is an option, and then from there take them all the way to 99, or make up the extra 5 levels or 4 levels. For the sake of this study, though, I'm going to do this. Characters will all get 60 levels, which means characters will be that are going to be unpromoted will be getting to level 25 before promotion. And all characters I'll take to 25, and then I'll promote them. Then I will take them to 35, and that gives me 60 levels. It sounds right in my brain. Now, the next step is the characters who come into the party promoted are going to be taken to level 40, which is actually the closest to reasonable high level you can get without, like, using cheat codes and stuff. With that said, that is the parameters in which I am setting. I will have to manually write down some statistics because I have a very strong feeling characters like Peter and Geralt and Slade will probably go beyond the 99 stat threshold, and so there is gonna be some honor system in this, which I'm hoping some of you guys will be able to help me with. But those kinds of things too will be just me saying, oh, their HP is this, but it only shows question marks. You're gonna have to take my word for it, because there's no way for me to actually show you what they are once they get past the 99 stat. So there's that aspect as well. And I'm going to do this kind of study, and I'm going to call it the vanilla study, no matter what kind of arguments I hear. I've sat down, I've kind of done some different algorithms to find an equal way to do this, and to me this seems like the most legit one. Now, some of you might say, well, you're going to get different results every time. Yes, that's absolutely true. And with that said, it means this needs to be a study that's done multiple times to find an average, and to find out parallels and consistencies of how often we see maybe the same end stat come up at the end of each study. So the vanilla study is a study I'm interested in doing multiple times. The other thing too is, after multiple attempts at the vanilla study, one of the things that'll be is every time what I want to do is figure out who is the best specialty classes. So who's the best sorcerer, who's the best Pegasus, Who's the best Pegasus Knight? Who's the best Brass Gunner? Who's the best Baron? You know, and so on and so forth. You know, who's the best Master Monk? Which many people have pointed out who it obviously is, but we'll get to that. But I do want to do that study as well, and that's something I'm going to do primarily on the side. And I am going to do that study alongside more vanilla study data gathering, and that way we can see how that goes. And then when we keep gathering more data, so I'll have less data on the specialty characters to a degree. Like each one will get, I'll probably, or I just do it separately. It's one of the two, and I haven't really decided how I'm going to do that yet. But that's why the vanilla study takes precedence, because we need to get because we can get the best equation, you know, the best equivalencies out of that study. And then from there, we can say, well, you know, maybe, let me give you an example. Let's say Chester's not the best knight. Okay, that's fine. Well, what if we make him a Pegasus Knight? And then compare his Pegasus Knight stats to everybody else's Pegasus Knight stats. He might somehow end up being the best Pegasus Knight. It's a big throw out there. It's a big toss to left field, but you never know. And so there's some areas and things that I want to test with that. But those have to be done kind of separately, just because you're talking multiple playthroughs, at least 3 or 4, just to get the data for one character. I think 3. I think there's only the 3 knights, right? Who can be? There's only the 3 knights who can be paladins, and everybody else is in pairs. Unless May can be turned into a Brass Gunner, which I forget sometimes. So I don't think she can, but I could be wrong. Anyway, getting back on point. So this study is going to take time, a lot of time. I'm going to update it as frequently as I can with new data and new numbers. You might not see a game screen. Sometimes you might just see a spreadsheet, or with the game kind of running beside the spreadsheet, or you know, whatever data that I can find parallels to, I might put up in on the screen or something like that if it's relevant. I'm also going to use some of the resources from Shining Force Central's stats, like weapon stats and things like that. So if characters go above and beyond their performance, and I need to compare them to characters who naturally are just that strong, I can figure out certain elements. So for example, during this study, most characters will not be given their ultimate weapons. They will be given the best weapon one can buy at a store. And that kind of helps keep the game rather consistent. Now, it doesn't make it the best outright, but if Slade and Bowie are using the same sword, and their stats are identical, we know Bowie will be the best because he gets the Force sword, and that is a statistically better sword than, I believe, the Gisarm. So there's a lot that we can take from that information. The other aspects as well beyond that is, like I said, no bonuses, no power-ups, no rings, none of that stuff. And like I said, no specialty weapons. I don't want anything to manipulate the results of this study at all. So hopefully I made these guidelines relatively clear, and if anybody wants to do this study alongside me, you're welcome to do it. I think that we could all pool our data together and come up with a really cool kind of like set of parameters. And then with this, now the one question that I might come up with is, do I need to level them lower? Could I level the characters lower? If I can level the characters even lower and not go all the way up to 40 promoted and 35 unpromoted, or past once promoted, I can then change the study around a little bit. So if I do less than 60 levels, let's say I do 50 levels, maybe that might not be a big deal, but many would argue casters play a big role in that. So, and I have a feeling that there might be some issues with casters dealing with these 60 levels, but I won't know until we actually play this out, until I actually do this footwork. So this is the vanilla study, and this study will be replicated probably several times unless I feel the parameters need to be changed. So hopefully you guys find this as a pretty good starting point for this mass level study of 60 freaking levels. And if you have any questions or you have any maybe insight, now I will say there's a lot of rumors and there's a lot of skepticism about certain things and mechanics within the game. People have actually looked at the code to this So there is a lot of information floating around there about certain aspects. So try to understand that, yes, you can take characters to 99, but you'll never truly know, and there is always going to be max level for every character, 100% maxing levels. The beginning characters will always have an edge over all the other characters. So hopefully that answers your guys' maybe preliminary questions you have about this study. I hope you guys are excited about it. And the next time you see me, like I said, I'll either have the characters at level 25 before promoting them, or I'll just skip it altogether because I'm already making this video explaining what's going to happen. And then I'll just show you what happens when we get to the later levels. So hopefully that answers some questions, and hopefully we can get some good numbers and whatnot. Keep in mind, unlike the other Shining Force games, this study is not indicative of who's the best character. It's actually more, in my opinion, that this study could tell you who is the best character for an average playthrough of the game if you don't power level up your entire experience. Okay, so, and I'm also going to make the effort to get to Pakalon, where the Pegasus wing is, the final specialty upgrade item, specialty promotion item rather. And I'm going to try to do that and see if it can be done at level 25, by level 25. If it can't, and it gets kind of weird, I might change around how I do things, but I'm not committed to anything yet, so regarding that. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like I said, if you have any questions, you have any insight that would be deemed useful and not just speculation, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you want this study to get pushed, forward, and lots of other people see it, share it with your friends, share it with the forums of buddies that you know, and click that thumbs up button. Even if you think I'm wasting my time, click that thumbs up button, because people might find some data or have data to share that will actually help this study keep going. So anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. I'm your host, the RPG Guy, here at Jack Dart Studios. We'll see you guys next time.